Today I want to welcome Leigh Claridge from Sichel Vineyard from Bordeaux. So welcome to Northern Ireland.
Pleasure.
Leigh.
Great to be here again.
And we're going to have a wee bit of chat about your stable of wines here, which we have at homedeliverywine.com. So we'll just straight in. Leigh, do you want to tell us about your job and what it entails?
Yeah, I'm the Sales and Marketing Director for Maison Sichel. I've been in the wine trade my whole life. So who are Maison Sichel? They're a family business set up in 1883 in Bordeaux, when the family negociant business was set up. There's 5 sons that run the business. Alan Sichel is the CEO. I'm responsible to Charles, who's a twin with James, and then you've got David and the winemaker, Benjamin Sichel, Ben Sichel, who's the winemaker at Chateau Angoudet.
All right, it all sounds very interesting and exciting. What's the best part of your job, Leigh?
The best part of my job is opening a bottle, which hopefully we'll do today, and seeing your face going, wow, that's fantastic. You really have over-delivered. I mean, the secret in this business is to find wines which over-deliver, not under-deliver. They need to have added value. And the best part of my job is tasting with customers.
Zombie apocalypse happens at a dinner party.
It's your desert island disc question, isn't it? And
yeah.
And I've often thought about this. Having spent 2 years in Bordeaux, I worked at Chateau Petrus for 2 years, and everyone expects me to say Chateau Petrus, but I'm a real sweet wine fanatic, so it would be a really top quality sweet wine, any really good Sauterne, but if I was going to say, it would have to be Chateau Yquem, the best sweet wine in the world.
Okay. It's coming into the summer season, hopefully. What would you recommend for barbecue, Leigh?
Well, this is a great example of, here we have it, Domaine de Pello, red, white and rosé, screw cap. It's fruity, it's not too dry, it's not too sweet, it's not too alcoholic. They do the range, the Pello white, the red and the rosé. They're all fruit driven, they're all easy to drink. As I say, you don't want something too heavy, too tannic, too rich. You just want a simple, easy drinking, fruity wine.
Have you a favourite grape, Leigh?
Yeah, but bizarrely, I mean, I worked in Australia for a while, and I worked up in the Hunter Valley for a while, and my preferred grape is Semillon, S-E-M-I-L-L-O-N. The Aussies call it Semillon.
And 2015 vintage, what do you reckon was the star?
It is an extremely good vintage, but it's not a universally great vintage like 9 and 10. 9, 10 and 5, 99.9% of the wines were really, really good. 2015 is not exactly the same. It's a good and in sometimes a great vintage.
We'll get into a bit of tasting here maybe, Leigh. So what do you want to start with?
Okay, well I think it would be a good place to start with would be the Domaine de Pello. And as you can see, it's Sichel here. We buy it in bulk and we bottle it at our bottling plant called Sichel. It comes in red, white and rosé at this level. Screw cap, and let's have a taste of it right now. So this is an example of a negociant wine. So here we don't own the property, but we work very, very, very closely with Domaine de Pello. So this is a family-owned business. It's the second largest producer in Gascony. So here we have a blend of 6 different grape varieties. And a lot of people would say, oh, 6 grape varieties. I don't like that. I want a single grape variety. But actually, the winemaking is made by Mathieu Berraud, who's a top winemaker. And here he gets the best out of his vineyard. It's all about vineyard management. And here you've got Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Ugni Blanc, Colombard, Gros and Petit Manseng. And it's a lovely compote of fruit character. It's slightly off dry, so it appeals to the person who wants dry or medium dry. Let's have a swill. Stick your nose in. Lovely fruit on the nose. So it's the Sauvignon that comes out here. When it's young, the Sauvignon comes out, so you would say in a blind tasting that was probably Sauvignon,
yep.
Where in fact there's only 20% of the blend is Sauvignon, but when it's young it's Sauvignon, and as it ages it's the Chardonnay and the Gros and Petit Manseng. But it's 11.5% alcohol by volume, which is nice and light, it's crisp, it's fresh, it's fruity. Let's have a taste. So it follows through on the palate, clean, fresh, fruity, easy drinking. So that was the white, and this is the rosé partner. Shall I? Would you like to taste this?
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of rosés are very sweet these days. There's a lot of things in the press at the moment about obesity and sugar levels, blah, blah, blah. We've even brought in a sugar tax. This again is made like the white wine. There's a little bit of residual sugar in there, but this is all about strawberries and cream.
Yeah,
okay.
Great,
it's a mixture of 4 different grape varieties. It's made by the saignée method, which is literally the bleeding method. where we just leave the wine on the skins for 12 hours and then we ferment the first run juice. So you end up with this very fruit-driven wine with no tannin. So yeah, fruity, easy drinking, perfect for a hot summer's day.
Okay, we'll move on to Chateau Argadans.
Chateau Argadans.
Yeah.
So this is an example of a property that we own.
Yeah.
Now this was bought by the Sichel family in 2002. It dates back to parts of the property of the 12th and 16th century. It used to be called Salle d'Argadans. It's now called Chateau Argadans. It's a blend of Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. It's had 12 months in oak. It's 2010, which was, in my view, the best vintage in the modern era. It's between 5, 9 and 10. But for my mind, my own personal taste, I think 2010 is a cracking vintage. And it's now 6 years old. It's perfectly ready to drink. It's soft, it's Merlot driven with a nice hint of oak. It's that lovely, if you wanted a benchmark, someone came into your shop and said, Leigh, Kenny, give me a benchmark Bordeaux, this is what you'd give them.
Okay, Leigh, we'll try one more.
Okay, well, we talked about my desert island wine,
Yes.
which was a sweet Sauterne. This is an example of where we're buying bulk wine from a top chateau in Sauterne. And we bottle it ourselves, and it's not good enough to go into their top wine.
Yeah.
Okay, so they declassify it effectively. We're not allowed to say where the chateau is, but it is one of Sauterne's top chateaus. So we then buy it in bulk, and then we bottle it under our own label. So this is the Sichel Sauterne. The French would drink this at the beginning of the meal. They would drink it with their foie gras. They would drink it with patisserie. We tend to leave it, unfortunately, to the end of the meal, which I think is a great shame. Because at the end of the meal, you've had probably a couple of pints, some champagne, red wine, white wine, and you get to this, and you always blame this for the headache or the port, which is a great shame because it's not that, it's everything else that's gone before it.
Yeah.
So let's have a smell. So it's a combination of Sauvignon and Semillon, predominantly Semillon, which is the great variety we talked about earlier. Oh,
Nectar in a glass.
nectar in a glass. All good sweet wine should have this lovely freshness to it. You don't want a gloopy sweet wine because that's poor. What you want is a sweet wine with lovely acidity. Now this is 6 years old. They'll last forever, these wines. This will go on forever and a day. 20, 30 years because of that lovely acidity, the balance of the sugars and the ripeness of the fruit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So let's have a taste. Exactly what I said. It's not, you don't notice how sweet it is because of that lovely acidity running through it.
All right, Leigh, that's fantastic. One last question. You're here in Northern Ireland for a bit of a whirlwind trip. Have you anything planned to see the local culture?
Well, I flew in this morning, and it's actually the first time I've been here over a weekend, in actual fact. I'm usually hard on the road, visiting people like yourselves and doing dinners in the evenings. But tomorrow, I'm actually going to visit the Giant's Causeway for the first time, which I've read about, I've seen, but I've never been to. So I'm going to have a good look at that. I've got a good book. I'm going to wander down there, and I'm just going to sit there and just lap it all over me.
Well, I hope the weather's good for you. Hope the sun comes out.
Well, I'm not worried about the weather. I mean, the weather's the weather, isn't it?
That's it.
It's not going to alter it.
No.